Okay. Hey, good day, my loves. Good day, good day, good day. I hope you are well. I do. I hope you are well as can be expected. That's what I mean by that, right? I am sending you peace of mind, healing for your soul, and some love in your heart. We're focusing on love now, okay? And I pray to God all the time that that part of me doesn't get distinguished, doesn't get put out, doesn't get just killed, because that's what the enemy wants. The enemy wants my light to shine less bright. And if I'm sad or mad or don't have hope in love or don't have hope that my life can turn around in an instant, then they get the feed off of me. But when, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what comes, I may cry. I may cry, and that's okay. But I still get over it, and every day I get stronger. Every time I cry, I get stronger. Because I wasn't taught how to properly get through my emotions. So pretty much anything that feels uncomfortable, if it's not like joy or, or happiness or whatever, it bothers me. It like, it does something to me. And so I cry a lot, and I'm okay with that, but not okay with that. You got to understand, overstand, and understand. I wasn't raised for that to be okay. And to me, it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because I have no choice but to let it out, because the ways I used to let out those types of energies were not very conducive to me growing into the woman that I want to become, right? So I do a lot of crying. I do. And I mean, I have to laugh at myself because I cry at commercials, but this has been going on for a while now. So I'm used to it, but I'm not used to it because I feel like it should be done already. But maybe that's just how my body cleanses, right? And so I have a question, though. I have a question to tell. I have a question. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. But I have a question for you guys. Like, this is a specific question. And I got on here specifically for those that are subscribed to my channel. We've not been introduced. Like, I don't know who you guys are, but I'm so curious about what drew you to my channel. And if you resonate with anything that I say, right? But I do have a question. Because I'm studying, and a theme came up, unhappy childhood. And it came up as well because I saw a video of Tupac, Mr. Tupac Shakur, when he was 17 years old, and the video was dated like 1988. He was 17. And oh my goodness, y'all, I got to see Tupac. I got to see him with a big heart. I got to see him with so much hope and so much promise and so much light still behind his eyes. And in the video, I was just like, I had to prepare. I did have to prepare. And I was like, I see him. I saw him. Not the persona that was created when he got in the industry, but I got to see, that was a part of him too. Don't get me wrong. That's a part of him too. We all have that side. We all have that shadow side. But it can be manipulated as well, okay? So you have to have compassion for yourself sometimes. Now, listen, we all know what's good and what's bad, what is considered murder, bad, right? Bad. Parties, generally good, right? Celebrations. But there is like another area, right? But you still have to have compassion for yourself, because if you're anything like me, then you were manipulated to a certain extent, but we are still held accountable. We are still held accountable for our actions, meaning you make amends when necessary. You apologize. You learn, you grow, because that's what we're here to do, right? And so I have a question for you, because after watching Tupac, y'all, if y'all have not watched it, you need to watch it, because you will get to see him in like before he was manipulated and sacrificed. And it is so beautiful. He's so beautiful. He talks about walking out of a job because they know he an actor and they should understand, especially if they got people on the floor and they in his cupboard. You know, like, it's like I seen me then. That was me. This was in 1988, and in 1988, I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even know who he was. And I was so like attached to this video that I can remember dang near everything he talked about. He was serving pizza. He worked at a pizza place. I don't know the name of the pizza place. I didn't even go in there to look or anything like that. And I was drawn to this. I was drawn to this video, literally, energetically. I got signs and wonders on my wall. And so when the video came up, I didn't know that the signs and wonders pertained to him. But they did. And when I got to see him, I got to see him like how I was. And he talked about me like a dog, y'all. He talked about me like a dog, y'all. He did. Unknowingly, he did. And I had to be like, at 17, he knew enough about the world to be like, you're doing your kid a disservice if you raise them as if this is La La Land. And he talked about the school systems, y'all. He talked about the school systems. Where was this video at when I was growing up? But I wasn't even into that. But even when he came about, I didn't even do no research, because I'm sure I probably could have found a video. I didn't do no research. But in this video, he was pure. He was pure. And you can tell the difference. Y'all, I would suggest you watch it, because you can tell the difference in when he went against himself. And then, of course, I went on to watch other videos. And I watched videos about his, and I didn't watch, like, I mourned his death. I literally cried. Because I, like everybody else, thought he would survive this just like he survived the other ones. But he was sacrificed. His story mimics mine. And probably yours too. So I will advise you to go, because I remember when I went against myself and I started talking against the things that I wanted, like a family, children. When I was like 15, 16, I said I wanted 5 children. I really wanted to be married by the time that I was 25. I remember feeling that. Wanted to be married by the time I was 25. I wanted to have 5 children. And I remember when one of our classmates brought a 25-year-old woman. 25, she looked old. We thought she was 30. But he said she was 25. And we thought that was old then. At 17, I thought that was old. And so looking at Tupac at 17, y'all, I was like, oh my gosh. He had such a big heart, and he was always positive thinking and wanting to change the mindset of our community. Y'all have to watch this video because it's so contrary to the music he put out. But the same way DMX. But in their way, they honored God. Dear Mama, every time DMX put a prayer out. But it also, when the industry is made up for you to give your soul away. We all know that. You've been on this journey. You've watched a lot of videos. You know it. And if not, then welcome to the rabbit hole. Sorry. But anywho, there's like an innocence about him in this video that is so like endearing, so endearing, that he was already trapped in a narcissistic spider's web and didn't even know it. He didn't. And I don't know what his belief system was when it comes to the occult, the hidden, astrology, and things of that nature. But someone knew about his birth chart, just like someone knew about my birth chart. And when he was trying to change and become a better person was when he was sacrificed. Just like I was supposed to have been. I would have been dead. And I had this thought. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but go with me because I'm coming back to it because it all ties in. But I had this thought. If I'd have died like they wanted me to, those who wanted to sacrifice me, they all would have been online just talking and being sad and crying and talking about how much they loved me and all the things I did for them, but didn't show me when they had the chance. That's the takeaway I got from that. So for me now, this is just my understanding, understanding. Those who bark the loudest are the ones that sacrifice their loved ones. The ones that keep feeding off their name and stuff like that. They are the ones. In some instances, I can't say for all. But I know that would have been for a fact for me. I know it would have been. It wouldn't have been no radio silent like I'm getting right now. It wouldn't have been none of that. It definitely would have been. I'm getting radio silence now. But God forbid, which, you know, I do not bring that on my life at all. I got too much life to live. Too much to prove to myself and to heal within to see what I look like on the other side. I got too much to do, right? So, but I know timelines would have been flooded about, oh my gosh, she was this person, and oh my gosh, she was that person. But I've reached out to freaking a lot of people, and whatever their social media would depict would not be indicative of how people have treated me in real life. Yeah. It's just not. It's just not. And I'm saying that on 4/22/22 at, let me see, 8:45 p.m. on this beautiful day. But as I'm watching Tupac. When I say he talked about me like a dog, yeah, he talked about people who lived in La La Land and how life would be hard, and that's why suicide rates were so high, because they were not prepared for how the world actually operates. And I didn't intentionally operate in La La Land. Clearly, I am the only one out of my siblings that operated in La La Land, because they knew of the world and all the other stuff. I did not. I saw it, but there was no connection to it. There was nothing until I had my spiritual awakening. And then it was like, what the, are you kidding me? Then it was all of that. But even up to the last person trying to sacrifice me, it was like, I didn't see it coming. Now I had inklings. Now I believe and trust my intuition. But back then, I ignored my intuition because I was always looking at the bright light. I seen the dark side, but it was like, we're not going to pay the dark side no attention, because we're not going to. But you got to pay it some attention. You have to, or it will swallow you up. So in it, he was talking about his childhood. And in it, he was talking about poverty, but he talked about schools and everything, y'all, right? And he was like, if poverty sucked, you know, he said, if the world was ran on morality, then him and his mom would be millionaires. Be millionaires. But it's not. And hence there's poverty. Right. And so he knew what poverty was. I did not. I did not feel like my childhood was crap. And so that's the question I pose to you. After all of that I have said, is your childhood considered unhappy, even if when you grew up in it, you didn't feel unhappy? But hindsight 2020, and now that you've been awakened and you see what has transpired and you're connecting the past, the present, and the future, you're connecting the dots, right? And so you know what has happened to you because you've been spiritually awakened to yourself and to those around you. And it puts a different spin on your childhood. And it makes me feel a certain kind of way, but it doesn't make me feel unhappy. Like, it just makes me feel like, dang, I didn't even know. Like, dang. I spent a lot of hours not knowing. I spent a lot of years not knowing. I spent a lot of minutes not knowing. Like, because when I think back on my childhood, the first instincts that come first are that happy, because I enjoyed my childhood. I didn't feel like I was in poverty. No, I couldn't get the Nikes or whatever like that, but I didn't contribute it to poverty. I really didn't. Because we had a lot of amenities, like we got video games. We put our money together to get those things. We had a music sound system. We had TVs. We didn't have a TV in our room, but we had a TV in the living room that we watched. You know, that's what you did when you was a kid. It was a color TV. We had food. We ate out at McDonald's once in a while. That was when it was a treat. I'm glad we wasn't on it like I was when I had my own money in the beginning. But that's the question that I have. Is it considered to be unhappy if that wasn't the emotions that you felt? But hindsight 2020 and knowing what you know now, and I'm finding it difficult to find the feeling, the word for the feeling, because it's not unhappiness. Like, I enjoyed my childhood. I played outside all day. I'm an outside kid. I'm an outside person. Right? I'm thirsty, y'all. Hold on. Excuse me. Don't mind me, okay? But I'm like, I'm like, what is it that I feel? Because all it feels like, it's not regret. It's like, dang, I just didn't know. That's a perfect example of you don't know what you don't know until you realize you didn't know it, or that you don't know it. And I didn't realize what was going on. So I didn't know to, like, you know, my negative, when my energy took a negative turn at the age of like 30, 25 is when I started feeling the pain. But at the age of 30, when things just start going left, and I kept saying, this out of whack. There's something ain't right. What's the problem? And I called it out to my friends and family, y'all. And no one would acknowledge what I was saying. They tried to play me like I was crazy, or tried to play me like I didn't know what I was feeling. But God always has a way of bringing people who treat you that way. And myself included. That's why I stopped wondering and stopped saying, I don't know how they could. Because you know what? God will put you through whatever you just said. I don't know how they could at some point in time in your life. So I'm very mindful of that. Because I never want to be put into a situation where that has to be a possibility. Wherever I'm saying, oh, I don't know how they could. Okay? But what is the word? Tupac recognized that his childhood could have been better. I was content in my childhood. I mean, besides me having to take care of a child that wasn't mine at the age of 13, 14, I got to enjoy my childhood and my teen years and my 20s. 30s, it became rocky. 30 was like, okay, what's going on? It was like, I didn't realize that there was a method to the madness. Had I understood and overstood that, I would have navigated it a lot better than what I did. And so this is a prime example of, listen to me, baby boy, baby girl. When I tell you, don't walk in my footsteps, walk around that path. It may be the long way, but I went the way you're trying to go. And the way you're trying to go is not going to bear no fruit. It's not. And so I speak when I'm spoken to. I used to give my energy freely, like, hey, how you doing? What's up? What's going on? And I still do. To when I want to, and not when someone's trying to trigger me into doing so, and manipulate me into giving of my emotions. But they're not aware that they're doing that. Understand, overstand, and understand. Some are and some not. But I've had so many conversations with everybody about the same things that I'm already talking to you guys about. So there's, you know, I say when it's important, or when my opinion is asked, or when I'm asked a question. That is what I've learned. I still have those opinions and stuff like that. Sometimes, when not asked, just depending. But 9 times out of 10, no. And I'm okay with that. Because people have to learn from their own mistakes, and I can't save everybody from their mistakes. They sick of me trying to save them, so they don't want my energy, but they don't want my voice or my opinion because it's contrary, and that's okay, right? But again, I pose this question to you: what constitute constitutes an unhappy childhood? Is it the fact that it was unhappy and you knew about it? Or